With technological advancements, our ability to explore the universe has increased, and the possibility of finding alien life seems closer than ever before.
It's a triple, no, quadruple system. It's beautiful.
Possible to believe all those stars in the sky were just stars we didn't know. But now we've discovered over 1,000 planets, 20 billion Earth-like planets that could harbour life in the Milky Way. 20,000 million other Earths.
Just recently, the algorithm detected 8 very suspicious radio signals, opening up a whole new realm of possibilities in the search for alien life. As we continue to search the skies, listen for the faintest whisper of alien technology, one thing becomes clear. The universe is vast, mysterious, and full of surprises.
So aliens. So we're looking for aliens on the surface of Mars now. There's a rover called Perseverance, which is on an ancient river delta in what we know was an ancient lake, and it's drilling down to take samples to try and find evidence that life existed there, because there was water and all the things that we think are necessary for life. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are aliens below the surface of Mars, right? Martian microbes. We've got one called Europa Clipper. They're going to launch to Jupiter's moon Europa. That's a frozen moon, about the same size as our moon, but it's ice. The whole surface is ice. And below the surface, there's water, salt water, sodium chloride in the water. And there's more water in there than all the oceans of the Earth combined, about 3 times as much. And so that's a candidate for life. And so we're sending a spacecraft to look for life. So it's not bonkers to suggest that life may have begun somewhere else other than Earth, right, that we're looking for in the solar system. But what is really worrying observation to me actually is that we've looked a bit for radio signals, and we look out for signs of anything out there in our galaxy, intelligence, and we don't see anything at all. And astronomers call it the Great Silence. It's kind of an ominous name, because it seems there's so many planets, 20 billion potentially Earth-like planets in the Milky Way. You think there's loads of room and loads of time, so there should be things out there, but we don't see anything. And the explanation probably, if indeed that's true, is biology. It's just, if you look at the history of life on Earth, it took nearly 4 billion years from the first cell to a civilization. 4 billion years, nearly. That's a third of the age of the universe. I think the best guess is that we're so incredibly fortunate to be here, because it's just that ask that you say, I want a planet to support an unbroken chain of life through all this violence in the universe, an unbroken chain of life for 4 billion years in order to get to something like you and me, right? Collections of atoms that can think. I think it's just really unlikely. It's terrifying and also kind of uplifting in a way, isn't it? Because it means that we're unbelievably valuable as a species and a planet. It could be we're the only island of meaning in an ocean of 400 billion suns.
The search for extraterrestrial life has captivated human imagination for centuries. From ancient mythology to modern science, we have always looked up at the stars and wondered. But despite years of searching, we have yet to discover definitive proof of life beyond Earth. However, recent discoveries of exoplanets, some of which are potentially habitable, offer tantalising hints that we may not be alone after all.
You go back 15 years or so, 20 years, we only knew of our solar system. So it's possible to believe all those stars in the sky were just stars we didn't know. But now we've discovered over 1,000 planets out there around stars. The remarkable thing, Kepler has been looking just at a little piece of sky to do a kind of a survey. A tiny piece of sky, and it found 6 Earth-like planets. So these are rocky planets in the right zone around the star, so the temperature's right, so there could be oceans and rivers. And if you just then extend that over the entire sky, the number now people are talking about is 20 billion Earth-like planets that could harbour life in the Milky Way. 20,000 million other Earths.
Despite the discovery of many Earth-like planets in the Milky Way, we have yet to find any definitive evidence of alien life. Some theories suggest that we may not be looking in the right places, or that the conditions for life are more complex than we originally thought. Others speculate that intelligent civilizations may be intentionally avoiding contact with us. When the realization sets in that there are close to infinite alien worlds with conditions similar to Earth, it's hard to fathom that not even one other civilization's signature has been detected. This enigma remains one of the greatest mysteries of the cosmos, leaving us yearning for answers.
This has got a name called the Fermi paradox, after the physicist Enrico Fermi. Because now, 20 billion Earths. The galaxy's been around for almost the entire age of the universe, 13 billion years. Why we haven't seen evidence of another civilization?
The Fermi paradox questions the absence of extraterrestrial life despite the vastness of the universe and the septillions of stars in it. The Great Filter hypothesis suggests that there is a barrier that prevents civilizations from advancing past a certain point, causing them to become extinct. But what if the barrier is ahead of us? This brings us to the dark forest hypothesis, which posits that intelligent civilizations remain silent and hidden, much like animals in a dark forest, for fear of being discovered and eliminated by other more powerful and advanced civilizations. This chilling possibility forces us to consider that perhaps the universe is not the welcoming place we may have thought it was. The dark forest hypothesis proposes that intelligent civilizations are engaged in a cosmic game of hide and seek, where every civilization is both the seeker and the hider. In this game, revealing oneself could lead to the destruction of the civilization by other, more advanced civilizations. Therefore, staying silent and hidden is the most logical and safe option. This hypothesis suggests that the universe is not a friendly place, but rather a place where every civilization is competing for resources and survival. It implies that the reason we have not yet discovered any extraterrestrial life is that every civilization is hiding in a cosmic dark forest. But maybe we are getting ahead of ourselves and life is far more ubiquitous and less mysterious than we think, at least as far as simple forms of life goes, such as microbes.
I wouldn't be surprised to find that life had existed on Mars, perhaps even still may subsurface. But I would be very surprised if it were anything other than single-celled at best. But the question is about aliens, about civilizations. We don't know. We've looked a bit. We have the SETI program. We've heard nothing. Astronomers have a term for it. They call it the Great Silence. But it is possible. The biologists I talk to tend to say, if you look at the history of life on Earth, then it seems clear that for around, let's say, 3 billion years or so after the origin of life, around 3.8 billion years ago, up to less than a billion years ago, it was single-celled. And complex multicellular life is a relatively recent development. So on Earth, we had about 4 billion years to go from the origin of life to a civilization. And if that is in any way typical and we don't know, then the astronomers will tell you that perhaps there aren't so many worlds that have stayed stable enough for long enough for that process to continue. We don't know. There's a key point here that it is at least conceivable that worlds like this are very rare, in the sense that there's a very complex ecosystem, a civilization, intelligence. You can make an argument that there could be, on average, one per galaxy.
But what if there is more than just one civilization per galaxy? The possibility of multiple intelligent civilizations existing in our galaxy opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. What if they are trying to contact us, but we're not listening? One solution to the Fermi paradox suggests that the lack of evidence of extraterrestrial life is due to the vast distances between civilizations. But what if we're just not paying attention? The WOW signal is a prime example of a potential contact from another civilization that we may have missed.
A radio telescope called a Big Ear detected a radio signal from somewhere in the vicinity of the constellation Sagittarius. And this is the printout from that night. It was a pulse. The peak brightness was over 30 times the brightness of the background radio emission from the galaxy. That's the wavelength of light, of radio waves emitted from hydrogen atoms. So the whole sky glows at that wavelength. And back in the 1950s, radio astronomers speculated that if an alien civilization wanted to communicate with us, then they might well choose that very special, natural wavelength to send their message. So surprising was this, that when it was spotted a few days later by an astronomer called Jerry Amon, he circled that pulse, that 72-second flash of radio waves, and wrote WOW next to it. So this has become known as the WOW signal.
Blink and you might miss it, but the universe is constantly sending signals our way, from the hum of stars to the crackle of black holes. We're surrounded by electromagnetic activity. But what if some of those signals weren't just random cosmic noise? What if they were messages from intelligent civilizations far beyond our own? That's the question at the heart of the Breakthrough Listen initiative, a team of scientists using AI to search for technosignatures from other planets in our galaxy. It's not an easy task. The universe is a chaotic, noisy place, and separating out potential alien signals from all the other background noise is like finding a needle in a cosmic haystack. But that's where AI comes in. By training machines to recognize patterns, we can sift through vast amounts of data in search of that elusive extraterrestrial message. And it's working. In fact, the latest breakthrough comes from a student at the University of Toronto who developed a machine learning algorithm that can filter out the most promising technosignature candidates. The universe is vast, mysterious, and full of surprises. Who knows what other secrets are waiting to be uncovered? So keep your ears open and your mind even more so, because the next message we receive might just change everything we think we know about the cosmos.
Thanks for watching. And to make sure you don't miss out on anything by subscribing.